We are going to discuss the chapter Financial Statements of Companies, under which we have two topics to learn. First one is preparation of financial statements, and the second one is cash flow statements. Let's begin with the first topic, that is preparation of financial statements. Before discussing the preparation part of financial statements, let's first understand what are financial statements of companies. Financial statements are the records or statements of how a company performs financially over a period of time. So what are financial statements of companies? Financial statements of companies are statements or records of how a company performs financially over a period of time. And as per section 2 subsection 40 of the Companies Act 2013, the financial statements of companies includes a balance sheet. Second, we have profit and loss account or income and expenditure account. So the companies which are for profit making, they should prepare profit and loss account, and the companies which are not for profit, they should prepare income and expenditure account. And the third one is cash flow statement. So what does cash flow statements do? Cash flow statements summarizes the cash inflows and outflows as per accounting standard 3, and we have cash flow statements as a separate topic to discuss, so we will learn more about cash flow statements when we reach that topic. Now the fourth one is any explanatory notes. Explanatory notes are generally referred to as notes to accounts or notes to financial statements. So anything that explains items in the balance sheet, profit and loss account, income and expenditure account, cash flow statements, or anything that explains the accounting policy of the company is known as explanatory notes. And there is one more item in the financial statements other than this, that is a statement of changes in equity, and this statement should be prepared only if applicable, that is if there is any change in the equity of the company. And financial statements with respect to 1% companies, small companies, dormant companies, and private companies, if such private company is a startup, then these companies are not required to include this cash flow statements in their financial statements. So these companies are not required to include cash flow statements. They can include this balance sheet. They should include balance sheet, profit and loss account, or income and expenditure account, then any explanatory notes. So they can avoid preparation of cash flow statements. Only these companies, and all other companies must include cash flow statements in their financial statements. We already know how to prepare final accounts or financial statements of sole proprietors. That is, we used to prepare trading and profit and loss account and balance sheet of a sole proprietor on a T-shaped format, that is like this. And for financial statements of companies, Companies Act 2013 has provided a separate format which we should follow while preparing balance sheet and statement of profit and loss or profit and loss account. And for the cash flow statements, we should refer to accounting standard 3 for the format. Earlier, it was allowed to use T-shape format. That is, in case of balance sheet, here we used to write assets, and here we used to write our liabilities. So this was the format for sole proprietors, and earlier it was allowed to use this type of format, but now it is not allowed. This is because to maintain uniformity in the format of financial statements of companies. And for the format of financial statements of companies, there are two categories. The first category is companies governed by specific acts, such as banking companies, insurance companies, electricity companies, any other companies which are governed by specific acts. For banking companies, the format for financial statements are provided by Banking Regulation Act 1949, and for insurance companies it is provided by Insurance Act 1938. And for the electricity companies, Electricity Act 2003 does not provide any format. So for the companies governed by special acts should follow the format prescribed under the act governing such class of companies. Now the second category is all other companies. All other companies means other companies which are not governed by any specific acts. So for all other companies, Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013 provides format of balance sheet as well as format of profit and loss account or statement of profit and loss. And this format of balance sheet is provided under Part 1 of Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013, and the format for profit and loss account is provided under Part 2 of Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013. In the case of electricity companies, we know that Electricity Act 2003 does not provide any format for preparing financial statements. So what we should do in the case of electricity companies is that we should follow this Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013 for the preparation of balance sheet as well as profit and loss account of electricity companies. So electricity companies should follow Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. This is because Electricity Act doesn't provide any format for preparation of financial statements. So let's revise this topic. So here we have two categories, that is companies governed by specific acts and all other companies, that is companies which are not governed by any specific acts. So companies under companies governed by specific acts, we have some examples like banking companies, insurance companies, electricity companies, and any other companies which are governed by any specific acts. So for the format of financial statements, specifically balance sheet and statement of profit and loss account, the format for banking companies is provided by Banking Regulation Act 1949, and for insurance companies it is provided by Insurance Act 1938, and for electricity companies the Electricity Act 2003 does not provide any format. And for any other companies, if the act provides any format, then these companies should follow the format specified or prescribed under the act governing these companies. And for all other companies, Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013 provides format for balance sheet as well as format for profit and loss account. The format for balance sheet is provided under Part 1 of Schedule 3, and format for profit and loss account or statement of profit and loss is provided under Part 2 of Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. And here under electricity companies, the Electricity Act 2003 does not provide any format for preparing our balance sheet or profit and loss account. So these electricity companies should follow Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013 for preparing their balance sheet as well as profit and loss account. And here when I'm saying format of financial statements, what I mean is balance sheet and profit and loss account or statement of profit and loss. And the cash flow statement, the format for cash flow statement is prescribed under Accounting Standard 3 that I have already talked about, and we will discuss more about cash flow statements while we reach the next topic. So now the main focus or the main topic which we have to learn is Schedule 3, the format of financial statements prescribed under Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. That is format for balance sheet and profit and loss account or statement of profit and loss under Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. So in the next lecture, we will learn the formats prescribed under Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013 for balance sheet as well as profit and loss account or statement of profit and loss of companies.